Hi, I'm Bob Trask. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about habits. We all have habits. We live with habits. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. But the habits that I want to talk about are those that we might want to take a look at changing. And the reason that we want to change habits is because they no longer serve us. They pull us down rather than lift us up. The habits I'm talking about specifically today are those like overeating or overthinking or even over-exercising or smoking or drinking or sugars or driving too fast or driving all the time even when we're tired or all of those things that we do habitually. And you know, I don't know about you, but usually when I'm doing those things habitually, it's because I'm trying to avoid something. There's something else going in my life that I don't want to look at. All of us are dragging a lot of luggage behind us, a lot of baggage of the times that life wasn't so good or that we had a tough time with somebody or maybe tragedies in our childhood. Or even just looking at myself and saying, I wish that I were different. I wish I could feel more comfortable in my own body, more comfortable in my own consciousness. Like, I teach meditation, and one of the toughest things for people learning how to meditate is to just be quiet, just be absolutely still and not think of anything, because when they're absolutely still, sometimes those old demons start talking in the back of their mind and they start rehearing some of those old self-doubts and self-accusations. So instead of being quiet and letting those accusations come out onto the surface and then eventually go away, as they would if we would just let them, rather than that, we validate them by hiding from them. We validate them by running from them. And one of the ways we run from them is through the habits that we have, the things that we do habitually. For instance, like, you know, I grew up being a refrigerator door hanger-oner. So every time something didn't work, I'd go open the refrigerator door and hang there looking into the spaces for an answer. You know, there's a lot of things in there, but there was nothing that quite filled the gap inside of me that had nothing to do with physical hunger. But still, you find something in there to eat, some jar of peanut butter and some jam or some chocolate or something, and eventually that shows up on the hips or elsewhere in the body where you don't really want it to be. There's all kinds of other examples that I could cite, like I said, drinking or driving too fast or sex or other kinds of things that we can become addicted to. I remember when I was a boy living on a farm, we, in the wintertime, would drive the tractor down along the lane and up into the pasture to feed the cattle. And in the wintertime, the mud in the lane was real deep, and the tractor tires would just make a deep rut in there. And then by summer, those ruts were so deep, and then they dry up, and then the deep ruts, we'd just drive the tractor down the lane. We didn't even have to steer it. We'd just sit back with our hands off the steering wheel, and it'd go right around into the pasture all by itself. And it'd do that because the ruts were already there. And you and I have ruts like that, I think, in our lives, in our thinking patterns, that we don't even have to think through a thing anymore. It just automatically, as soon as we start getting a certain uncomfortable feeling, we just automatically steer around into those same old thinking ruts that take us back to our habitual behavior. And there we get stuck. So instead of getting out of the ruts, instead of going forward with our lives, we just keep going around and around and around in those same circles. So if you and I were to look down on a racetrack and see these wonderful, mighty, thoroughbred horses running around this racetrack, and we see them going around, and fastest horses in the world, oh my goodness, what incredible champions, but they just keep going around and around and around, and we're champions too. But we shouldn't just be going around and around. We should be going somewhere with our lives. And the way we do that is to break the ruts, break the habits. And the way we do that is to start thinking outside the box. That means that when I start getting that uncomfortable feeling that I need to go to the refrigerator door or to the whiskey bottle or jump in the car and start driving or whatever your drug of choice is, that maybe it's time to be quiet and really look at what's going on and see if we can't move past that. It's Bob Trask. Thank you.